Hey, welcome everybody to week 13 of Sparkyz Cast. This is going to be Sparkyz versus KT Rolster. Unlucky week 13, I hope. Sparkyz has been having the worst luck you could possibly have, so a little bit of bad luck isn't going to hurt him that much, but KT Rolster sitting on top of the entire league at a whopping, I think if this is the correct date, they are at plus 28 in the game difference category. So hopefully, 13's going to be unlucky for them, and Sparkyz is going to come up with a pretty big upset here. In game one, we are going to have go.go for Sparkyz as the orange Terran here up in the north, and his opponent is going to be Tempest, the blue Protoss in the southeast, and this is Neo Moon Glaive, which at the beginning of its life, Neo Moon Glaives, that is, has been a somewhat Protoss-favored map in Protoss versus Terran, so already a little bit of bad luck statistically coming from go.go. Although these two players are fairly evenly matched, the one big problem is that go.go, much like Lita, has a terrible versus Protoss record. I mean, Lita's isn't nearly as bad as go.go's is, but that's not the point. However, go.go has been fairly consistent this season, 2-3 so far. He lost last week to Haya, but he's been going back and forth between sticking at around 50%. So, at least in terms of go.go's tendencies, he's probably gonna get a win, keep himself at 50%, and get a good 3-3 start. Tempest, on the other hand, has only played one other game this season, which you may recall from round one against Sparkyz, which was against Lita, which he won. So Lita obviously struggling against Protosses, losing to Tempest, who. I mean, I don't know if they really have an actual feud or anything, but I at least manufactured some sort of feud. Tempest beating Lita very thoroughly, well, not very thoroughly, but having a couple of great games against Lita in the last Proleague season and in round one of this season. Anyways, Sparkyz not fielding Lita here, and so far I'm going to stop talking about these players and start talking about the game. It looks like a very fast command center coming from go.go, so I'm pretty sure that, well, not quite a 14 CC because he had his barracks out first, but barracks first into fast expand into his natural expansion. So very early economy coming here from go.go, and he is going to be... It looks like he's setting up and expecting a little bit of pressure. I'm not sure. Yeah, it looks like he has not yet scouted the base of Tempest, but Tempest does have a little bit of a scout on go.go's. I'm pretty sure I'm reading that right on the map. But Tempest now is he has built a Zealot, I believe, that's out in the field, and he is sending his first Dragoon up into go.go's base to try to stop this expansion. Oh no, he's just going to go and deny this scout, so he's going to set up for some sort of quick tech, it looks like, at least the way he was moving that Dragoon around. In the meanwhile, go.go is frantically trying to set up some of his factories so that once this economy starts rolling in, which it should be doing right now, he will be able to produce some units and get a large ground army to stop Tempest. Tempest actually looking like he's going to position to put a expansion nexus in a pretty risky, almost hidden third base sort of thing. That's normally what would be his third base, sort of the second natural, I suppose, just outside of the traditional natural. But I'm not sure why he would choose to go for that rather than just as natural expansion. It seems like it's a very likely and easy place for go.go to scout if he is going to scout. Once again, it's a likely place that he'll send maybe vultures or tanks, to go in and sort of surround that natural expansion. So it's not like it's going to be a huge hidden secret. But anyways, right now we got a lot of pressure coming in on that barracks of go.go, trying to hold off just long enough for his first tank to be built. It looks like Dragoon range has been upgraded for Tempest, so he does have 2 Dragoons in there, and he is going to be able to outrange that bunker, although go.go with 3 SCVs is going to be able to stop those Dragoons from doing anything for a little bit longer. That first tank should be coming out hopefully in just a matter of seconds, but he still won't have siege mode for quite a while because of his this very early expansion strategy that he went for. 1 more Dragoon and 1 more SCV to repair coming in and attacking that bunker. In the meantime, Tempest is setting up his natural expansion. So he's going to try to keep up economically, and using this pressure that he's putting on as a bit of a window to do that. He was trying to snipe off that first tank, but go.go was able to retreat it within the range of that bunker, so that tank is going to be fine. It is getting repaired. It looks like siege mode has finally been set up, and nicely placing that barracks over top of the siege tank, so that, you know, while that siege tank is sieging up, Tempest wouldn't be able to run in and snipe the tank as it's transitioning, obviously. Anyways, second factory going down for go.go. That natural expansion for Tempest is up and running. He has a robotics facility and an observatory. I don't think he has a robotic support bay yet. It looks like he also has something down here at that 6 o'clock expansion. I don't know if that's going to be, if that is another expansion, or if that's just a unit hanging out, maybe just a probe waiting to take that in the future, but they haven't showed it in a while. Maybe that was actually what that probe was doing earlier on that I thought was at the 3rd base, but is instead down at that 6 o'clock expansion. Anyways, a Citadel of Adun coming out, so possible DT harassment after that early Dragoon push. I wouldn't say a DT rush because it's not particularly fast. Oh, it looks like go.go is scouting for a hidden base down at that 5 o'clock expansion, but missing the probe and possibly the base that is at the 6 o'clock. So maybe a little bit of an unfortunate scouting scheme that go.go has going on right now. He does have his academy, and he's building some ComSat stations, so hopefully he's going to be able to scout out some other ones. Actually, just looked as they switched over to his first-person view, it looks like he did send that scouting SCV over into that 6 o'clock base, so it probably is going to catch sight of that, and yes, it does right there. That base is built and fully mining, so go.go realizing that Tempest is trying to trick him a little bit with his sort of hidden base. He's able to spot it out before it does too much mining economically, so go.go might have a chance to stop this early on, although it looks like Tempest is just spending all of his new resources to go and defend these bases right now, so go.go is going to have to come up with a pretty good attack if he wants to destroy one of these bases. I'm not sure if marching straight into one is going to be the best strategy. Drops might be a little bit more useful, although if he can get a nice siege line outside of that, it will be very difficult for Tempest to reinforce. Meanwhile, it looks like go.go is finally ready to send his troops out and hopefully do a little bit of damage here. So far, it's hard to say. It looks like he's probably just going into the natural expansion, which is a much easier front to attack on, I think, just because there's those 2 entrances into that natural expansion, which can be very difficult to defend if you coordinate your attack very well. A couple of Dragoons out in the field for Tempest being chased away from that huge army, but it looks like he is bringing in a number of Dragoons to come in and flank those siege tanks, so he definitely knows that they are there and that they are coming, but I don't know if he has quite enough to deal with this, especially since his troops are a little bit spread out. If he is able to come back and reinforce and do a little flanking maneuver, he might be able to be in a pretty good position to stop this, but go.go going in very aggressively, setting up a siege line just outside of that natural expansion. Those tanks are in range to siege that natural, and that natural is definitely going down. There it goes right there, and a wave of vultures coming in to reinforce. Tempest trying to come in with that two-sided attack to wipe out all of these siege tanks, and this could be a pretty heavy loss here from go.go, and it looks like most of those siege tanks down already. A pretty good number of zealots. I think all of those, all of the gateways from Tempest have been pumping zealots for the past 2 rounds, and that was able to, you know, just they were able to take enough of that splash damage from the tanks to let those dragoons come in and wipe out all of those siege tanks. So go.go, I'm not sure if he's actually in the lead after that, because he is still only at even bases, and you know, Protoss really need to be 1 base ahead of Terran in a Protoss versus Terran, but you know,